Hey, how are you? I'm SliceofOtaku, and finally, the time has come for us to discuss Shira and the Princesses of Power. Now, this is a series that I have been looking forward to covering for a while now, and what particularly took my interest to the next level happened to be the complexity of the relationship between Adora and Catra. With the footage we received at New York Comic Con, along with the testimonials of the cast present, you could tell that a lot of focus was placed in this department, and so it would be something to look out for. And that is exactly what it was. The complicated relationship these two share was easily one of the most important parts of the narrative, as it drove the majority of the conflicts across the season, which I don't expect to cease in the future either. And I mean, I seriously don't mind it because Catra is one of the show's best written characters, and as far as I'm concerned, its greatest antagonist thus far. This is a character very much driven by her desire for recognition, an attempt at self-validation. Catra's Horde origins are nearly identical to Adora's, but she could never be Adora. Both of them orphaned infants raised by Shadow Weaver as their adoptive mother. Yet Catra never experienced the same sort of maternal-like relationship that Adora and Shadow Weaver shared. She was seen as a hindrance to Adora's potential, being treated more as Adora's pet rather than a sister or even friend. And this is treatment that Adora recognized herself, but because of her strict allegiance to the Horde, never spoke out of turn when it came to this treatment. Not really. And no matter what Catra accomplished, it all dissolved before the shining star that was Adora. And even after Adora defects and Catra makes major strides for the Horde, Shadow Weaver belittles her, instead obsessing over someone who willingly left. And that leaving really broke Catra's heart, further pushing her into the Horde's clutches. Which isn't to blame Adora, because you can only do so much for someone who refuses to change, but there are reasons why Adora's words failed to reach Catra. First of all, the atrocities that opened Adora's eyes couldn't do the same for Catra simply because she was blinded by her desire to bring her best friend back. She didn't see innocent civilians, but rather insurgents who changed the person she cared most about in this entire world. And it's beyond whatever the Horde's mission is for Catra. It's the beliefs and desires that she has placed upon them. And you have to admit, it's a little bit unreasonable to expect someone to suddenly uproot everything they've ever believed in or cared about their entire lives for what on the surface looks to be someone else's identity crisis. The second reason being that despite Shadow Weaver's sentiments towards her, Lord Hordak provided Catra with the recognition she so greatly desired, and this is something that she refused to give up. Once Shadow Weaver began taking all the glory for herself, Catra began to plot against her, aiming to be as close to the top of the totem as possible, and in the process, proving Shadow Weaver wrong about her all these years, and making Catra more ambitious than ever. Not only that, but with how brightly the legend of Shira shines, she figures that she'd just be lost in an even bigger shadow if she left too. And really, the saving grace for Adora is that she is the Princess of Power, so despite affiliating with the Horde her entire life, she got a pass. But the same can't exactly be said for Catra, now can it? And lastly, she may feel as though she is in too deep to stop at this point. Since Adora left, Catra has swiftly risen in rank, and now that everything in her life is suddenly on the up and up, it's easy for her to presume that Adora was the problem all along, which is why she's now chosen to disassociate. And although Catra may not want to be on the same team as Adora right now, just like she did with Shadow Weaver, she wants to validate her progression and everything she has become. And to do so, she has decided that she has to destroy everything that Adora has become, which entails defeating Shira. Which, all things considered, is pretty sad, and Catra's issues aren't exactly as straightforward as jealousy, but it seems like that was definitely the initial basis for her turmoil. But all in all, I am seriously looking forward to more from Catra, especially now that she is geared to be Hordak's second in command, meaning that she can be much bolder and equipped for her preceding ambitions. And I'm expecting to have a lot more to talk about in regards to Catra going forwards, and I hope you not only enjoyed the video, but also enjoyed yourself watching the show. So please, let me know how you're feeling about Catra and the series in general in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.